Hey, Mikkeller Beer Travelers. I'm Andrew from Taiheiyogan. We're being joined by
Chris from Sailor's Great Brewery in Australia.
and we're just around some foliage.
Yep, some
Not
grassy
between
stuff.
two ferns. That's a little bit copyrighted, I think.
Yes.
We get in a little bit of trouble from Zach Galifianakis.
Just stop. You get in more trouble when you talk about it.
Anyways, we're here to talk a little bit about Sailor's Grape.
Yeah,
You guys are based in Australia. Where in Australia?
We are in the middle of nowhere, so we're probably about 5 hours east of Melbourne, 7 hours south of Sydney, on the really southeast coastal tip of Australia. Pretty wild coast.
So how do we get there? Drive?
You have to drive, yeah, unfortunately, unless you have a private airplane or something.
I'm not Tom Cruise, so I can't really do that.
No, me neither.
Or John Travolta.
We drive. But yeah, we live on a farm there, and the brewery's back up the road in an old abandoned butter factory. Yeah.
So how do you get your beers out?
It's not that hard, you know. We pack them on a pallet and we send them out to the cities. We distribute all around Australia. Everything goes cold, so it's easy.
Nice.
It's actually really good being isolated. The logistics that you're talking about, that's the biggest hurdle, but everything else is a bonus. You know, we're close to nature. We're close to a lot of stuff that inspires us for our beers. So,
That's nice.
like ocean, close to farming land, a lot of roadside foraging, heaps of sea vegetables. It's really endless what's out there.
When you say sea vegetables, what do you mean exactly?
So we use both seaweeds, so light sea lettuce type stuff, fresh noris. Sometimes we use heavy kelp in beers, but also sea vegetables as in sand dune growing or estuary growing succulents that are really kind of hoppy and salty and oceany and great for putting in beers. Things like karkala, which is also known as pig's face, which has a succulent leaf or a succulent flower, fruit, sorry. Yeah.
What would you say is your signature style of beer?
Look, I think we definitely love subtle, layered beers. So not too high in alcohol. We do have, like everyone will do a fun beer or a higher alcohol beer or some hazy stuff, but we love subtle, layered beers. We come from a cooking background, and we like combinations of flavors which are really interesting and out there, but not novelty. The beer has to be drinkable and just come through as sort of balance and layers of flavor.
So we're here at the MBCT.
Yep.
So you brought a lot of beers for the event.
Yep, 8 beers.
So I'm drinking the Goze right now.
Yes, is that the cucumber goes in?
Yes.
Yes, so that Gabby grew 400 kilograms of a cucumber variety called crystal apple cucumber, and that's also got some of that pig face sea succulent in that beer as well. It's salty, cucumbery. Yeah, it's quite an intense flavour, but it's very super refreshing.
Well, I find it strong. Not like, I don't know if I'd use the word intense, but it's refreshing.
Yeah, very
Absolutely.
refreshing.
It's like, after drinking all those heavy beers all over,
yes,
like this is just great to just freshen up and feel happy.
It's actually a really interesting beer to have at a festival because, I don't know, I'm sure you do know the festival fatigue. You drink a lot of big beers, and sometimes subtle beers will get lost. But cucumber, for some reason, that flavour is big enough to cut through, but still be super refreshing. Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
Excellent. So, in Australia, how is the craft beer scene?
It's really good. It's like everywhere in the world, it's been growing exponentially in probably the last 5 years from a pretty solid foundation. But now there are breweries, just like I'm sure in Tokyo, in America, and Europe, breweries popping up every week, everywhere. And the scene is really international, so what's happening in America, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Japan, everybody is kind of following a lot of the same trends and the same willingness to really explore and do interesting things.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing, but like every good thing, it comes with a lot of baggage, I guess. So I think freedom is great, but coming back to what we said about our approach to beer styles, we love subtlety and layers, and we're not afraid of putting anything in a beer, but there is a tendency to put everything in a beer, and it doesn't always work sometimes. So, we've put sea urchin in a beer, uni in a beer with a local lemony herb, and sounds disgusting probably, but you know, as long as it's done subtly,
Yeah.
great. You know, so you just get a whiff of the ocean and a lemony zing, and it's not like a nose full of uni. You know.
Just
Yeah.
curious, have you ever thrown a beer out?
Yes. Interestingly, actually, the beer we threw out, we thought, I wasn't happy with it, and we packaged 20 cases and then threw the rest out. And then maybe 3 weeks later, I tried one of those cans, and it had changed completely and was really good. And I wish I hadn't thrown it out. So yes, we have.
So things do happen, like
Yeah.
the timing and the
Yeah.
aging just
Yeah.
mellows out better.
Yeah, it just came together suddenly. You know, well, not suddenly, but after a few weeks. Yeah.
Do you think craft beer is going to implode?
No, I mean, I would say that, but like I look at, I'm sure it's the same everywhere. I don't know, but you know, in Australia, the percentage of people who are beer drinkers who are drinking craft beer is so small, but it's like a virus spreading. You know, that group of drinkers is growing and has so much more room to grow that there's definitely room for more breweries. I think it gets more and more difficult for breweries as the scene grows, though. So you have to be kind of strong and be true to what you really want to make. And I think otherwise you'll cut yourself off at the knees. If you try and follow trends too much, or if you try and just chase volume, I think that's silly. You should just try and do what you love to do and put your love and your heart into it. Try and make it as best as you can, and I think that will work.
But the reason I ask is because we've seen in the past year a few American breweries, craft breweries, that we personally enjoy. They unfortunately have to close.
Yeah, kind of friends.
And kind of friends, they unfortunately have to close down.
Yep.
Is that happening in Australia too, recently?
Not yet, but I can see that will happen. Yes, definitely. It is. Yeah, it's a weird contradiction. It's difficult, and it's such a growing, booming thing.
Yeah.
But it's also very crowded. So yeah, it is difficult. I mean, I hate to see any brewery close down. I think there's room if people, you know, just stick to their guns and do what they really love doing. I think there's room to just keep growing. So, yeah.
Last question before we leave. How do you feel about the haze craze?
Well, I would love to hate it, but I love it. I'm sorry. Yeah. We make some hazy beers, and I love drinking hazy beers. So it's very hard not to like hazy beers. So I like them. I mean, it's not our focus, but hey, they're so good to drink. I mean, there are hybrids. Like my favourite beer that we've made recently it's not a traditional hazy beer, but it's a beer with mouthfeel made from sake kasu. So the pressings when they make sake has all the yeast and the lactobacillus bacteria and some koji remnant molds, and we brew a beer 100% on that with persimmon fruit, and it is hazy but sour and umami and fruity, and you know, there's room to kind of insert that fashion into any style of beer you're doing without being too like, I have to make this beer like this, you know.
I lied. I have one more question. Where can I find your beer?
Well, today you can
MBCT.
buy it from us. You can also go down to the Titans beer stall. They're selling our cans. I don't know if they'll have some available after the festival.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. So.
And of course, Australia. Everywhere in Australia?
Yeah, every state in Australia except Northern Territory, which is just too far and too hot. Every state in Australia. We're selling to Hong Kong as well in very small amounts, very niche. We are a small brewery, so yeah. And around Australia, we're in good places. We're not a volume producer of beer.
Where you can and what people really want.
Yeah.
So you guys heard the guy. You got to go to Australia, Hong Kong, Titans. There's a whole bunch of places to go grab Sailor's Grave beer.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking a few minutes with us.
Cheers. Thanks,
Kampai.
guys. Good to meet you. Kampai.